Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Hauk here. Today we're going to be going over the bandsaw and some bandsaw safety. But first, I want to show you a couple features. I want to make sure the machine is unplugged before we mess with it. I'm going to unplug it. It is called a bandsaw for a reason. It essentially has a metal band with teeth on that is stretched around two wheels. So if I open up the top door and the bottom door, you'll see that there are two aluminum wheels that are essentially pulling apart from each other, and that is stretching this metal band all the way around. Now this blade is going to rotate only in one direction, so as this is rotating, if you look in here, you can see the blade is moving down. So when we're cutting, it's always going to be pulling down into the material. Whereas other machines like the scroll saw, the blade actually goes up and down. This is only going one direction. Okay, I'm going to close up the guard doors. A couple features that make this bandsaw function and work properly. There are a series of guide bushings and bearings. I take my handy dandy pencil. These bearings just keep the blade in track. So right here, that's a bearing in back and behind the blade that just supports it. There are these guide blocks right here on this side and one on this side. They just support the blade from moving left to right. So those can be kind of pushed in against the blade. There's also the same setup underneath, but it's quite challenging to actually see. But there is a similar setup to what's above. Those just help to keep the blade centered because it is a flexible and moving blade. We want to make sure it's as stiff as possible. That way we have good, clean cuts. So that's a little bit just about the overall workings of the bandsaw. As far as other components that are important, obviously this is the table. This bandsaw I have equipped with a clear guard. And the reason I have that on there is just as a way to make sure that the user knows that they are staying a good distance away from the blade. So if I were to cut a piece of wood, I know that I should never be putting my hands underneath the clear guard. If I am, that means I'm in danger of cutting myself. So I always want to keep outside of that clear guard at all times. I'm going to go ahead and plug the machine in. Right. The way this switch works to turn it on, you actually have to pull it out, and then turn it off, you have to push in. So that's on. And then I can turn it off. It does take a few seconds to slow down. You can see it's starting to come to a stop. When we're using this machine, it's really important that we make sure that the table is clear of any debris, and we want to make sure that our part is flat and that it's not moving around. Since the blade is not going to be pulling it up and down, we don't really have to push down on it, but we just want to keep steady pressure. And since this blade is pretty wide, we have to be cautious of how tight we turn around our cuts. So whereas with the scroll saw, you can make pretty tight turns and the blade is a lot thinner and allows you to maneuver more. Here we're not as, we don't have that luxury. We have to be a little more cautious in how we're cutting and make sure we're not binding or twisting the blade. So if we were to start a design, okay, let's say we want to do a simple curve. Before I go ahead and do that, I don't want to put a whole lot of tension on that blade, so I'm going to make what are called relief cuts. And relief cuts are just straight cuts that go into our design and then back out. So I can make all three of those, and then I'll try to cut our curvature. It's really important that when we're doing this, we keep the machine on and that's running the whole time. So now that I'm set up, I have my tables free of any debris. I can go over here, turn the machine on and make our cuts. I'm going to go in and then right back out, leaving the machine on the whole time. I always want to keep my fingers as far away as possible and make sure I'm not going underneath the clear guard. So there you can see I have my relief cuts made. As I start to cut my design out, those pieces, those individual pieces will come free, and that's gonna loosen up a lot of tension that could possibly be on that blade. So I'm gonna go ahead and attempt this cut. I would usually use the push stick, but right now I have my pencil handy. Get those pieces out of the way. Alright, so there's our cut on the bandsaw. One thing you'll notice as I was operating that, I constantly had to kind of go back and forth. The way these blades track, they don't always track true, meaning that sometimes they'll catch like certain parts of the grain and they want to cut left or right. So it's more or less a battle of you trying to stay on the line the whole time. If anything, you want to kind of keep the line and not take away as much material, that way you can sand that later on, but it really depends on your application. So that's this bandsaw. I actually have 4 available bandsaws in the production lab. For the most part, they're all very similar. The only thing that's really different about our big one right here, our Powermatic, it's much, much larger. It operates the same. The start button looks a little different. You have a green button and a red button to stop it. But what this machine has, since it's so huge, and you can see the wheels are just enormous. This machine has a lot of power and a lot of weight behind it, so when we're using it, it wants to keep going for a long period of time. It actually has its own brake. So down here, okay, when I'm using it, even if I just turn it on for a split second, and I just turn it off, it wants to go for quite a while. So it has a brake. You hold on to this gold bar. Makes a little squealing noise. But that is how you would stop this machine. Other than that, this machine operates just like any other bandsaw would. So that is the bandsaw safety. Thank you.